Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, honorable city council members, mayor, city treasurer, deputy clerk, city attorney, administrative staff, and to all of those who are present this evening in the audience, and to those viewing tonight's broadcast via our YouTube live channel. Welcome to the City of Romulus City Council regular meeting, and today's date is Monday, June 10th, 2024. Members of the public wishing to participate in this meeting may do so under the public comment portion of the agenda. Please fill out a request to speak public comment card, which is located on the table in the back of the chambers, and hand it to the deputy clerk. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo. Here. Councilman Barden.
Here.
Councilwoman Roscoe, she's on the way.
Okay.
Councilwoman Talley.
Here.
And we know that Councilman Wadsworth is
Excuse.
excused. Councilwoman Williams.
Here.
And Councilman Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2 minutes, 3 petitioner, 4 chairperson's report, 5 mayor's report, 6 clerk's report, 7 treasurer's report, 8 public comment, 9 unfinished business, 10 new business, 11 warrant, 12 communication, and number 13 is adjournment, and a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the agenda as presented. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
Thank you, council. 2A, we're asking for approval from the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 7:30. And there was an error that was discovered in your original packet, so we made that correction, and so those minutes are in front of you. We provided the corrected minutes with you. So we're asking for you to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on June 3rd, 2024 at 7:30 p.m.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, for the approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on Monday, June 3rd, 2024 at 7:30. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. There was a study session that was scheduled for Monday, June 3rd at 6:30 p.m., but due to there not being a quorum, that meeting was not held.
Thank you.
Number 3, petitioner, which we have no petitioners on the agenda, takes us number 4, chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight we had a public hearing to discuss the street and alley vacation. And at that time, that's going to conclude the chairperson's report.
Through the chair, I'd like to make the motion to accept your report. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Williams, for approval of the chairperson's report. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you, council. Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Thank you. Good evening, City Council, Madam Treasurer, Madam Clerk, Deputy Clerk, audience here today, and also those at home. Before we get into my report tonight, I want to turn your attention to the monitors, and the lovely Vanessa Tolliver from the Mayor's Office has some announcements for you.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Tolliver, and here are some events happening in Romulus. Join Mayor
June 11th for the One Romulus Community Meeting at Hill Creek Elementary beginning at 6 p.m. Friday, June 14th is Flag Day. We will gather at the flagpole in the Romulus Historical Park at 11 a.m. for a Flag Day ceremony and to honor our veterans. Later that night, come on out to our district and enjoy the top 40 sound of the Dan Rafferty Band as we kick off the summer's music series in our district beginning at 7 p.m. It's Romulus Alumni Night, so make sure to wear your maroon and white to show off your Eagle pride. Following the concert, the party will continue in the alley near Artists in the Reserves with food, dancing, and games. The community is invited to the City of Romulus' second annual Juneteenth celebration. Join us on Saturday, June 22nd from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Romulus Historical Park for a day of gathering with family and friends to remember the past and celebrate the future. There will be vendors, music, crafts, food trucks, and lots of fun. Movies in our district returns on Friday, June 28th with the showing of Super Mario Brothers movie beginning at dusk. Applications for Romulus Hometown Superhero Award nominations are open. Visit our website to find applications and to learn more about each category. Please reach out to UAB at unityabb@gmail.com for more details. Thanks everyone, and remember to like and share us on Facebook and YouTube or visit our website for more information. Have a great night.
Thank you, Vanessa. I also want to thank the gentleman from St. John's Lodge 44, hosting another great softball. This is the 9th year we've done it. Looking forward to the 10th anniversary next year. We had a great event Saturday out at St. John's Park on Beverly Road. The city of Romulus was able to recapture the titles, so we had representatives from police, fire, DPW, Public Works. Everybody was there, so it was a great time, great event. We encourage everybody to come out next year, have a good time. It's just a community building event. We want to hang out and have fun. No all-stars out there, just having fun. A bunch of people that used to be good at softball, so it was a great time.
Mayor, did you hit a home run or
Just
something?
breaking up.
Did you hit a home run?
Anyhow, on to the action of the day. First action item I have for council tonight is a piggyback on a My Deal contract for the purchase of 4 police vehicles. So I concur with the recommendation of Roger Salwo, Police Captain, and Christina Parker, Purchasing Director, and respectfully request council's authorization to piggyback on the My Deal contract 071B770081 to purchase 4 2025 Ford Utility Interceptors with all options and a 7-year extended warranty at the price of $52,004 each for a total cost of $208,016 from Gorno Ford for the Romulus Police Department. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has verified these funds are available and been approved.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and consent to piggyback on the My Deal contract number 071B770081 to purchase 4 2025 Ford Utility Interceptors with options and a 7-year extended warranty at the price of $52,004 each for a total cost of $208,016 from Gorno 4 for the Romulus Police Department.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo, to piggyback on the My Deal contract for the purchase of 4 utility police interceptors. Any discussion? Ms. Williams?
I just have a question. I know we have different names for different vehicles. Is this like a SUV?
Yes, basically the police version of the Ford Explorer.
Ford Explorer, okay. I mean, if Ford Explorer could have been in here because, I mean, I'm like, what kind of vehicle is this? It say utility, but, so I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
If there's no other questions from council, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next item I have up is a piggyback on another My Deal contract for the purchase of 1 Ford F-150 for the animal control. I concur with the recommendation of Roger Salwo, Police Captain, and Christina Parker, Purchasing Director, and respectfully request council's authorization to piggyback on My Deal contract 071B77 00181 with Gorno Ford to purchase one 2024 F-150 in the amount of $47,577, including an extended 7-year warranty and options for animal control. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has verified all funds are available for this acquisition.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally?
I'd like to make that motion to concur with administration and consent to piggyback on my deal contract number 071B77000181 with Gorno Ford to purchase one 2024 Ford F-150 in the amount of $47,577, including extended 7-year warranty and options for animal control. And I do have a quick question.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Ms. Abdo, to piggyback on my deal contract for the purchase of one Ford F-150 truck and animal control. Discussion, Ms. Tally.
Real quick, I don't know if this is a Gary question. Does this have to be upfitted, or it's good as, so you'll be coming back? Okay. That's my
Good.
question.
Any other discussion from council? If none, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. The next one we have is a piggyback another My Deal contract for purchase of 8 Motorola prep radios. I concur with the recommendation of Roger Salvo, Police Captain, and Christina Parker, Purchasing Director, and respectfully request Council's authorization to piggyback on a My Deal contract MA 19000001154 for the purchase of 8 portable prep radios from Motorola Solutions at the cost of $45,423.70. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has verified funds are available for this acquisition.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally?
I'd like to concur with the administration and consent to piggyback on the My Deal contract number MA 19000001154 for the purchase of 8 Motorola portable prep radios from Motorola Solutions at a cost of $45,423.70.
Need a support.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Ms. Williams, to piggyback on My Deal contract for the purchase of 8 Motorola prep radios. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, and motion is approved.
Thank you. I also want to thank council too for allowing us to piggyback on these My Deal contracts. We save significant funds and resources and directors' time by not having to go to the bid process. So we do make sure that somebody's already done the bid process, has been established by the state of Michigan, so it's all definitely cost savings to our community. So thank you for that. Then the last item I have up for action tonight is upfitting for the police utility interceptors we talked about earlier. I concur with the recommendation of Roger Salvo, Police Captain, and Christina Parker, Purchasing Director, and respectfully request City Council award bid ITB 23-24-15 to Williams Energy Emergency Vehicles and Equipment for the upfitting of the new 2024 and 2025 police vehicles in the amount of $18,866.65 per vehicle, with the pricing approved through June 30th, 2025. Gary Harris, Assistant Finance Director, has verified these funds are available for acquisition.
Through the chair,
It's Ms. Abdo.
I'll make that motion to concur with the administration and award bid ITB 23/24-15 to Williams Emergency Vehicles and Equipment for the uplifting of the new 2024-2025 police vehicles in the amount of $18,886.65 per vehicle, with pricing approved through June 30th, 2025.
I second that motion, and I have a question.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Tally, for approval of ITB 23/24-15, upfitting for police utility interceptors. Discussion, Ms. Tally.
Quick question. So again, I see the upfitting for the police, except, why don't we have it in there for the other truck?
Animal control.
Yeah, animal control. Why do we don't have that one in here?
So, to be honest, we have in the pricing, we were given pricing for for labor plus parts above markup. So in the bid, there is actually language about that. We just
For which
didn't-
one?
For the animal truck and any
Okay.
other vehicles we may need upfitted. there's language in the bid that allows for that, just in case, because we honestly don't know what is needed for the animal
Okay.
truck until it comes in.
Until it comes in,
Yeah,
okay.
so the part of the animal control truck we're going to order is basically a kit, but there will need to be lights and sirens added after that.
So it will have to come back to us, or no, because it's already included?
That's included
It's in there.
the pricing, yeah.
Okay, no, thanks, Gary.
Discussion, Ms. Williams?
Yes. Gary, can you explain what is upfitting? Because I'm looking at it, it's 18, almost 19,000 per vehicle. What is it?
So we get the vehicles from the Ford manufacturer, the utility interceptor is ready for the light package, the wire harnesses, all the shelving, anything, the partition in the middle, it includes all that to keep the officers safe, and basically the lights, so that, there's a lot of lights on these vehicles that have to be able to make stops.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion from council? If not, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you. One more thing on the St. John's Lodge softball game. I also want to thank Melvin, who does a great job up there in preparing. After we play ball, they always feed us. We had a great sit-down and great meal after. And Ms. Teresa Patton for showing up from 34th District Court. We haven't had a representative from 34th District Court, so thank you for showing up and supporting too. So she did have her cowbell, so she was ready. Maybe not, but anyhow, thank you for coming and supporting. So that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mayor.
Number 6 is the clerk's report. I have 5 action items. 6A, and this is for second reading and final adoption, requesting council to approve the second reading and final adoption of amendments to Appendix D, Public Employee Health Care Fund, Article 9, Trust Administration Board of Trustees, Section 9.1A, Board of Trustees of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances. This ordinance amendment was introduced at the June 3rd council meeting.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make that motion for the second reading and final adoption of amendments to Article, is that 9? Section 9.1A of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinance.
Support.
Been motion by Ms. Talley, supported by Ms. Abdo. The second reading and final adoption of amendments to the Appendix D, Article 9, Section 9.1A of the City of Romulus Code Ordinance. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion from council, roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. 6B is appointment to the Romulus Board of Zoning Appeals. It is recommended that council concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and appoint DeAndre Green to the Romulus Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to expire on June 30th, 2027. I know it says 26, but it should be 2027.
Mr. Chair,
Ms. Abdo?
I'll make that motion to concur with the recommendation of the Executive Advisory Committee and appoint DeAndre Green to the Romulus Board of Zoning Appeals with a term to expire on June 30th, 2027.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
I second that motion.
Motion by Ms. Abdo, supported by Ms. Talley, for appointment of the Romulus Board of Zoning Appeals. Any discussion? Ms. Williams?
Yes. Just moving forward, I thought maybe this individual will be here tonight. I would just like, when we're appointing different individuals to boards, that they would at least come so, we can see who they are and actually welcome aboard. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree with you 100%. He was detained today, so he couldn't make it here, so otherwise he would have been here. I'll make sure he's at the next meeting to introduce himself.
Thank you.
Yep, great. Obviously, I was going to echo the same sentiment, so thank you, Councilwoman Williams, because I don't know who the heck he is. He looks like he's been here for 3.5 years, living in Romulus, right, 3.5 years, and got his application here. But yeah, it'd be nice to kind of meet the gentleman and say hello, I guess, in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, City Council. 6C, we have a first reading and introduction, and we're requesting that council concur with the recommendation of the Planning Commission and approve the first reading and introduction of TA 2023-001, a proposed text amendment to Section 3.04, Sections A and 3, accessory buildings and structures, detached accessory building size, and Section 3.5, Sections A and 3, fences, location and height of the City of Romulus zoning ordinances.
Need a motion?
Mr. Chair, can we
Ms.
have someone
Abdo?
come up and explain this to the,
Sure.
before we go?
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Good evening, council. Yes, this is a amendment that we've been discussing for a while, and it actually came from looking with the residents in mind, because we've seen a handful of these come across our desk since I've been here with accessory structures in residentially zoned properties and fences on corner lots. These are things where they may not meet on the detached accessory structure, they may not meet the requirement for, they're over the requirement by a little for total square footage, so we added an explanation on how to calculate that square footage, like if you have a shed and a garage. So if somebody's got a 600 square foot shed and they have an acre of property and they want to build a 1,200 square foot pole barn, they may meet all the requirements of setbacks, lot coverage, everything, but they don't meet the size of accessory structure. So what happens is we have to deny their application, tell them they have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then that usually is a month, month and a half, depending, plus another couple $100. And the success rate on these in the last decade, I think, is 100%. Actually, I know it's 100%. And then, so we're trying to make it an easier process with residents, with us obviously taking in mind that it doesn't negatively impact neighbors, doesn't negatively impact the neighborhood, and it meets all the other requirements as well. And then with the corner lot fences, same thing. We've had 3 or 4 of those come across, and it's a variance because the corner lot has 2 front yards if the house is facing the street. So they want to fence their yard in, but they need a variance to do that. So same thing, those applications come in, we have to deny them. And we like to make sure they meet, you know, the visual requirements, and also they stay at least a foot off the sidewalk, depending where exactly they want to fence it. But those have a 100% success rate as well. So it's just something in mind to try to help the residents move forward on some things they might be trying to do on their properties without the hassle of waiting that month, month and a half, and spending an extra couple $100.
Thank you.
If I can, through the chair.
Yes,
Just to add on that, you've seen Jeff come here recently with these revisions to the zoning ordinance, and we've tasked him with going through there and finding these ordinances that complete, or they do make it longer and harder for residents to be able to get permits to move forward. And if somebody goes and they ask for a variance 10 times and they receive the variance 10 times, that means it's a bad ordinance, or something wasn't legislated right, it doesn't really fit Romulus. So we tasked him with going through there, finding those ordinances that we need to tweak a little bit. And if we can save our residents a little bit of hassle getting a permit for a shed or a fence to keep their kids safe, we want to make sure we do that. Because then what happens also is not all residents, but if we make it harder for them to follow a process, they're going to go and do it on the Saturdays, and then we have no regulation over it. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier for residents to go through the zoning ordinances. And these are ones where, like Jeff said, 10 out of 10 requests they've been granted. So it tells us that the ordinance is outdated. So we're trying to catch up with those.
Okay. Ms. Williams?
Yes. Now, with the pole barn, do you have to have so much footage or so much property, like more than 1 acre, or?
Yeah, it's
Because
different by the size of your property. I actually got it right here. So if you have 1 to 2 acres, the max square footage is 1,750. So if you had a 2 acre lot and you had a 600 square foot garage, and you wanted to build a 1,200 square foot barn in the rear of the property, you would actually be over that requirement by 50 square feet, meaning you'd have to get a variance. You may meet everything else, but you'd have to get the variance because you're over that. So there is, in our ordinance, it's a maximum depending on your size lot. The smallest is 750 square foot, and the largest for anybody more than 2 acres is 2,400 square foot. And this amendment is only, they have to be within that guideline still by 40% or less, or else we can't even look at it. And then when we do look at these, if we see that there may be a negative impact or there may be a problem in the neighborhood with it, then we would still deny them and make them go towards, to still have to come to the board and get the variance. But if everything is in good standing, and we know it's basically a slam dunk, then it just saves that process and saves that time and the residents that money to move forward.
So pretty much like certain neighborhoods, like subdivisions, it wouldn't be allowed because those properties are not.
Yeah, subdivision, so if your lot's 12,000 square foot or less, you're only allowed 750 square foot of accessory structures. And then some divisions have their own boards and their own rules and regulations, so it wouldn't really apply to those. These are basically, we don't get a million of them, but we get some, and most of them, almost all of the ones we get are basically guaranteed approvals.
Now, I like the one with the fence that you don't have to spend that money and go to the zoning boards of appeal and wait that time, because I'm on a corner lot, and I would have had to go in front of the zoning boards of appeal to get a fence. So I appreciate that. I just wanted to make sure, I know with some associations, you have to actually get approval from the association board
Yep.
before the city will sign off, so, and that's.
Yeah, with a lot of the associations and their bylaws, a lot of times we do require a letter from the board saying that they'll approve it before we'll give a permit for shed or fence or whatever it may be, whatever their laws are.
Well, thank you for that clearance.
Thanks, Jeff.
Any other comments? It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo. I need a support.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wilson for first reading and introduction to TA 2023-001, zoning ordinance text amendment, single-family residential. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, Council. 6D. This is for first reading and introduction of an amendment, an ordinance amendment, and reads to concur with the recommendation of the city attorney and finance department and approve the first reading and introduction to amendments to Chapter 62, Water and Sewer System, Article 4, Combined Systems, Section 62-357 through 62-369 of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinances. Again, this is for first reading.
Through the chair,
Ms. Talley?
I'd like to make the motion to concur with the recommendation of the city attorney and finance department and approve the first reading and introduction to amendments to Charter's Chapter 62 Water and Sewer System, Article 4 Combined Systems, Section 62 through 357 through 62 to 369 of the City of Romulus Code of Ordinance, and then I have a comment.
Need support? Need a second? Do I have a second?
I have a question. Oh,
Yeah, any second? No second?
Through the chair, just a reminder to city council, this is time-sensitive material that we need to take action on. So if we can second the motion, that'd be great. We can open it to discussion and address what issues that are out there.
Need a second, then we can discuss.
You can second it. You can. You can second the motion. The chair can second the motion.
I can second the motion?
Yes. Right?
I second the motion.
I have a discussion.
It's been motioned by Ms. Talley, seconded by Mr. Barton. Discussion?
Yes.
William?
I apologize, I wasn't able to be a part of this study session that we were supposed to have this evening, but there's two items, and Mayor, can you have Maria to come up?
Good evening, Council. What questions do you
The
have?
two items that I discussed with you earlier today,
Okay.
I think it was 359.
On page 2? On page 2 of the amendments?
Well, this, page 2,
359 is on two,
it's
yes.
359.
That was the one we
Yeah.
discussed.
359, a management and combined system.
Correct.
I would like, as I said to you over the phone, I would like to see that scratched out, disregard it, and leave it as the resolution by city council. And then for you to explain what you said to me pertaining to the triple of the water reconnection fee. That's 62-361, rates and charges, billing and collection, liens and remedies.
So for section 62-359, that is per our charter. I will have our city attorney discuss it a little bit more regarding that. When we started this process of amending these ordinances, last year we had a change in our methodology and the language for our water rates. So at that time, we were tasked to take a look at the amendments in the ordinances and make sure that they were aligned with our water bills. So last year, the readiness to serve charge was changed from the fixed rate. So at that time, we're like, okay, we're under this process. Let's just make sure that our ordinance align with an actual water bill that one of our residents received. That was the opportunity to take a look at anything that was incorrect, outdated, or updated. At that time, I worked with the city attorney. We took a look at some items that needed to be updated. And it appears that that section, the 62-359, is under, per the charter, the mayor's authority to manage a system.
Did you say,
What? Did you, I'm sorry, through the chair, please. Could you?
No, wait,
you saying it's under?
Correct. It's per our charter. So
Okay.
at that time, so again, I wasn't here when these ordinances were first made, but I do know that at that time, when we changed our methodology and changing some of the language, that was the opportunity to take a look at with the city attorney of some items that potentially needed to be fixed. At that time, our city attorney took a look at it and changed that to match what the charter was.
What I'm saying is, when did this change? This time? Because
No, this is the first time that we have changed or made any updates to these ordinances that I have been here.
So that's what I'm saying. So right now, you're asking us to vote and approve to, you're scratching out resolution of the city council and give the authority to the mayor, right? Or to make that decision.
Correct.
So you're saying it been changed. This is something you're asking us to change now.
No, I'm stating that we're correcting and updating it to match what the actual charter says for our department heads.
The charter doesn't say that if you're crossing out.
No,
Can you
So I'm going to reference the city attorney.
The charter says that the mayor is responsible for the management of the departments and approving rules and regulations of the various departments in their operation. The one exception that's in there is anything that has to do with salaries or fringe benefits of employees. That is under council's authority per the charter. And you'll remember that we've come to you many times when we want to change the HR policy with regards to employees, because that is called out in the charter as being separate from the normal policies of department operations. But all the other departments that's handled that way, if they have any policy rules they want for the operation of their department, they get the mayor to approve those, and then they implement them.
What I'm saying, section 62-359, management and combined systems. It has by mayor, that's in red, and it has resolution of council, city council scratched out. So what was it before you presented this to council?
It said city council.
So that's what I'm saying. So you're asking us to release relinquish the duties of a council.
My position would be, you never had that authority.
If
Even-
we never had it, why would it?
Well, I don't know who put it in there, I don't know the
So-
history of how it got in there. But you can't by ordinance supersede the charter.
Okay.
But it's in the
All
charter,
right.
so you're
Yeah.
asking us to amend it. That's why. the-
I'm just asking you to amend the ordinance to comply with what the charter says with regards to all departments, including the DPW department. That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
And I just caught that when we were doing the review of it, and said, okay, that should be consistent with the charter, just like we changed a few other things. We put in the Downriver Water Utility Authority, because that wasn't in here, but that's what the name of that authority is now. So that's the only reason I changed it. That wasn't Maria's fault, she didn't ask to do it, say that.
Yeah.
I just was, when reviewing this, caught that as being in conflict with the charter.
So,
Through the chair.
Yeah, Mayor?
I'm sorry, just a quick comment. Yeah, this is not time to wrestle away authority of city council. This is just something when we told staff to go through it and make sure this language is updated, current to date. The charter supersedes the ordinance, so I'm not sure if that was a mistake when it got put in here or what, but it's similar to any other division or department. They're administered through the administrative office, which is the mayor's office. I mean, can you imagine if we had day-to-day operations of the water department, they had to wait for the city council meeting to go before city council to move anything? So as far as rates and the other policies that apply to those divisions, then yes, it still would apply. But this is just about the management of the combined system, same as management of the police department, fire department, building department, ordinance. So it's just a matter of that, and making sure this language is the same as what's in the charter. So that's all that this is being fully transparent.
I mean,
so
yeah.
could I, if through the chair, please?
Yeah.
Well, I got my train of thought. So, in looking at this document, all the red ink and all the sentences crossed out, and, I mean, the charter is compiled, the council, right? I mean,
But citizens voted.
Okay, well,
down
citizens
on the
voted in, but-
Charter.
okay, so this was done apparently unilaterally. You said, council, you were the one that went through the charter here and decided that these changes need to be made?
This is,
Or am I missing
this is the
something?
ordinance. I looked through the ordinance at the request of Maria Ferris to.
Maria who? Oh, is that you?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
I'm sorry.
To align.
Okay.
We were trying to align it with.
Finance director. right?
Finance director, hi,
Yep.
Maria. Thank you.
Hi.
And in lining the language up with how they work now, I stumbled across that provision. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you could take 62, 359 totally out of this ordinance.
Right, so, okay.
If you don't want to argue about who's got the authority, just take it totally out because the charter would control.
Okay, so I'm just trying to be,
Yeah.
I just need to be clear, if you will. When I see resolution of the city council, and then I see a big red line through it, and then I see the mayor, that's what
Well,
you're.
I'm showing you that. the
Then I
mayor-
see bi-monthly, and then I see quarterly crossed out, and now it says bi-monthly. All sewage debt service, I see that crossed out. I see triple the price of the reconnection fees. You was doubling this crossed out, now it says tripled. So this is, just help me out. I'm just trying to be clear before we actually vote on anything or whatever we have to do here, but I'm sort of confounded.
So
Help me out a little bit more, will you?
The underlined language in red is the new language proposed to be added. The language in red.
Okay, excuse me, can I, proposed by who?
Proposed by the administration.
Okay, so administration proposed,
And the
New language.
And the language.
or modified language, I guess is
Yeah,
better.
the language that has a line through it, that tells you what it used to say.
I understand that. I understand
And-
clearly what
And
that
that's why
says.
there's a line through it. That would be.
I understand what the line means.
If
It means you aborted
It would be
it.
removed if you agree with the amendments.
Okay, I understand that clearly, but
Okay.
again, at the end of the day, it seems like someone took unilateral action here to cleanse, if you will, this document. And without this is the first time
Well,
I've ever sort of looked at
It wasn't
this.
unilateral. The mayor was involved in it.
Okay, well,
and
I understand the mayor was
Finance
involved.
department was involved in it.
And you were involved too, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so city council wasn't involved, because I see the council here several times, it's been crossed out. Just for my own edification, because I'm perplexed.
This is how that's how we generally do all ordinances that the administration is proposing a change to. We give you the ordinance with red in it to show you what's being proposed to be changed, and we give you the whole paragraph so you can read it in context. And the underlined stuff is proposed new language to be put in. The line through it is the language we're proposing to take out.
I understand. So you're saying that the only role of the city council is just to look at what you changed and what you modified and what you upended, and then we have to agree if we.
You don't have to agree.
Well, I don't. You understand what I'm saying? It's in our. So you give us a document, bunch of red ink. I mean, red is always bad.
I can use a
When
different
you go
color.
to school, red ink means there's something wrong.
Okay.
So if you got
I can
to-
use blue if you'd like.
Okay, sure. But again, just the council's authority. Sometimes when I see issues like this, and I see the council's name scratched out, it gives me chills. So you're trying to explain in your own terminology, or should I say in your legal jargon,
Well,
what it is that you and Maria and the mayor did without.
Yeah. And I would say that for the years that I've been around here, it's been operated as though the mayor had the authority,
Okay.
even though,
It is there within the charter.
yeah, because it's in the charter, but
Okay.
regardless of what this ordinance said,
Sure.
that's not the way it's operated
Okay,
in the past.
so just quickly, and I'm through with it. If I'm driving 100 miles an hour down 94 and I never get caught, I'm good. But as soon as those lights flash behind me, the cop is going to say, you knew you were wrong and you were doing it, you just got away with it. I finally caught you. So the analogy is that I hear what you're saying, just because something was always done a certain way doesn't make it the right way, is all I'm saying. You have a council here that also has to have some type of deliberation, if you will, with anything that happens with our city, with our residents. So this unilateral, bilateral, or whatever, what trifecta, whatever you want to call it, we get a document in front of us that's blurted with red lines and X's and crosses, and I don't know what the heck this is. The first time I've ever seen it. So that's from my perspective. I'm sure maybe of course, my council members have their perspective as well, but
Then
all I'm saying is that don't try and diffuse. It appears to me you're trying to diffuse the authority of the council.
If I can,
Please
Chair,
do.
that's the last thing we're trying to do. We're trying to be as transparent as possible. This was in last week's meeting, and also in this week's meeting, we had department heads available for questions if they had them, and to work with them. We are not being anything less than transparent. This is just updating the language in an ordinance to make it correct and reflect that in our city charter, that we believe it was incorrect at the time. This is not trying to confuse or delete authority at all. Like I said, it's similar to any other department. When we saw this inaccuracy, we said, well, let's correct it, make sure it meets the charter. The charter was approved by the residents, and that supersedes the ordinance as well. Again, I can't emphasize enough, we are not trying to mislead or cover. Like you had mentioned, the tripled rates, that's just for people who do illegal connections.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's what it says? The special service charge will be tripled and assessed for each instance, including uses of new construction. You said
So
people
if people hook
illegally-
up without city authority, or they hook up to our system illegally, they will be charged triple that amount.
Okay,
That's not what-
I missed that. Is that here somewhere? Mr. Mayor?
It's not clear.
Yeah, that was, you had mentioned that, that's on 62-631, I believe, subsection D.
Let's make sure it's there, because I read through this once or twice, and I didn't, maybe I missed it. I mean,
Through the chair.
Yes,
It just says if
Ms.
water or
Abdo?
sewer service is delinquent, a special service charge as may be determined in the city fee schedule by
Which is
council,
determined by council.
by resolution from time to time shall be imposed. If after, well, it doesn't say anything about illegal hookups here. I get the impression, if I'm reading this, and if I'm wrong, you can correct me, that anybody that has gotten their water canceled and then goes back to try to get it started, they're going to pay a triple fee.
No, it says anybody, after you've been discontinued, if you reinstitute the service other than by city personnel, so that means you did it yourself, then you'd be subject to that triple fine. That's a problem we have.
Okay.
People,
That makes sense to me then.
Some
So if you
people-
hook up the water yourself,
after it's been turned off, they'd get the tools somehow that's necessary, and they go turn the water back on and don't tell us. And try to use it until they get caught again. So we're just trying to discourage that.
So, and I spoke to Maria about that earlier today, and I understand what she was saying. If someone else, get their water turned off and they turn it back on illegally, that's not clear though. I mean, it don't jump out, and so
Yeah.
it's,
We
and
can try to
city,
rewrite it for the second reading.
Mr. Hitchcock, seriously, now,
7,
I don't jump on and just believe,
section.
water can be turned into mud. Why wasn't the charter, this part of the charter that explains this, when it comes to, what is it, 359? It would have been much better if you had attached that part of the charter to say, this is why we're changing it, because the charter says this. But just for you to present this to us as if, 62.3.9. Where in the charter does this speak to this?
I'll get it for you before the second reading if you want.
Sounds good.
See, that's the problem I have. And as I said to Maria, I don't know what took so long. In May, we approved, the city council was, approved the budget, city budget. Why wasn't this brought back in May? I understand that it's a pressing issue. It has to be voted on and approved by a certain time, but why?
So to answer your question, and I just wanted to address something for Mr. Wilson too while it's fresh, and then I'll answer your question.
Sure.
So you asked regarding the bi-monthly. So, okay, the opportunity to change it, this says quarterly. Well, that's not how we present the bills to our residents. It is bi-monthly. That is also aligned to change to match the water bills. Again, updating these ordinances to match what actually is happening.
Yes.
So I just wanted to address that with you.
I appreciate that, but since you addressed that, if I can just quickly through the chair.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, I'll come back to it. Go ahead, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So to answer your question, Ms. Williams, at that time, so we go through a process for the city budget. And at that time, we present a 260-page budget. I mean, we work really, really hard. So there's a process. We work on the budget. We allot certain times in our schedules. First is budget, getting that adopted. The next process is the appropriations. After the appropriations, we start working on the water rates. Historically, that is how it is for our department. To bring water rates or any amendments at this time, when we're in the middle of adopting a budget, it's just not good practice for us, right? We need to focus on finishing one task, going to the next task. Historically, this is the time that we bring in water rates or any changes in June. So I'm staying with what the best practices have been in the city for, I'm not sure, maybe the last 20 years.
Okay, well, 20 years is technology changed, people change, situations change. All I'm saying is, we even voted, even after the budget, we voted on a fee schedule, didn't we? Wasn't
Correct,
that-
but that's not there are some overlapping rates that go into that fee schedule. But again, according to the time in our department and the finance department, we have to get the budget approved. It's all about time management back there. And it's also finishing one task to the next. I can't start working on water rates and amendments, which the first priority of the city is just making sure that we secure the finances to keep going, having the city running.
Let me just suggest this in the near future. You're saying time management. Maybe start at the beginning of the year, even though you're working on the budget. You got to learn how to multitask. I'm sure we pay you good money. So, because you're asking me, I'm looking at this, and I got other issues going on in my head at the same time, and I'm trying to accept this. The city attorney is saying one thing, you're saying something else. The document is saying something else. It's like you changing the Bible.
So
I mean, I'm
also
just
too-
saying,
so-
you're saying that time management, I understand that.
Also, it aligns with when we get the rates from DUA and GLEWA. I have no control over those authorities. And actually, those rates come in past like sometimes mid-March. They just accepted those, I think, 4/24. There's no way I can bring those earlier until I could bring preliminary rates, but it's better when the authorities have passed those rates to bring them in front of you. To bring prelim rates of another authority is just not a good practice.
You know, I said to you on the phone, if that, the one that speaks on tripling the amount to average, if that was clear to me and it said if someone illegally, if it was clear, if it just said it clear instead of a bunch of mumble jumbo and jumping around it, then I can understand that. But to me, I took it and you said it yourself. You thought it meant for any resident to get their water turned off. And kind of that's how it reads. And so
It addresses multiple situations in here, and that's why I seeked clarification and recalled you back, just to make sure that there was clarification. Now, as I'm reading it, and again, I would defer to the city attorney if we can say illegally in here, which potentially we can, any services that are reinstituted by any person other than city personnel. So pretty much that's stating that if anyone illegally, so if it's not city personnel, then it's illegal.
like I said, it was like so much all at once. And like I said, I apologize for not being able to attend the study session, but it's like, even though the study session couldn't happen, you're gonna just push it on us like, vote for it anyway, whether we had a study session or not. To ask a lot of these, it's a lot of other things in here that may not be totally clear. You're saying the city attorney went through this with you. It's just a lot.
So, thank you. One more thing through the chair. Now I remember what I was going to say. Counselor Hitchcock, you talked about, obviously, this is the residents, right, compiled this. You said residents, citizens. I mean, did you say something about?
The charter.
No,
Charter.
I said the charter. This ordinance would have been passed by council
Okay.
some time ago.
But the charter, obviously, the residents.
Yes.
Okay, so you're,
I'll provide you all a copy of the charter provision that I'm talking about.
don't you think that'd be very helpful next time we start talking about the charter? I mean, if you cite a paragraph or some provision that we can have a copy of, like you do with the other information that you provide to us, it'll be very helpful, so we can look at it and actually cross-check.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure the charter's about that thick, right, or whatever it is, but, so the residents, obviously, charter, modifications, so you're modifying the residents, because this, the charter.
No, I'm trying to make this ordinance consistent with what the charter says.
So, okay, that's what I like. You say you are, and the mayor, and I think you said Maria, right? So you three, without, so it's your interpretation as the attorney.
Excuse me, no, this is good government at work. This is the administration.
I understand.
Suggesting rule modifications to be commensurate with charter, which is the voice of the people, to our city council. You guys promulgate the rules, we take the action, which is exactly, this is why we're here.
Absolutely.
So these were the suggested inaccuracies that were in the current ordinance that we wanted to modify and update, and that's why we bring it to council for discussion, and you have to approve it. I mean, it's city council decides on the rules, that's the legislative branch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Inaccuracies according to you three, right? I mean,
Well,
you're
no,
the ones who
no,
determined
because
that-
right now, it would say city council is responsible for operation of water and sewer, and if you're responsible, why are we in this situation? Do you follow what I'm saying? So I'm trying to make this thing
not
more
really,
accurate.
Not really. I lost you at the second sentence,
Okay.
but I'm good. Go ahead. Thank you, Chair. I'm good.
Any other discussion?
But I do want to add, though, if there's still language modifications or clarification council needs, we can supply that to you guys before the second reading. I don't want anybody to feel buffaloed here. We want to be transparent.
Well, don't worry. You know, nobody will hear Buffalo.
I don't want anybody to feel we're being less than transparent.
Is this, since this is the first reading, can things be changed or before we do the final?
We can supply any documentation as needed.
That need to be.
See, that's the problem I have. And I'm more with the city attorney because we're paying him good money. You're saying that, oh, it's the first reading, and so you can go ahead and then we can bring it back to the second reading. I would like to see what I'm voting on the first reading, because if I don't agree, I'm not voting. And then when the second reading come, if it's not changed, I'm not voting. So, look, we're not kindergarten. City Attorney, I'm talking to you because we pay you a lot of money. And you sit up there and you say what you gonna give us. It should have been attached. I done been in a lot of meetings, I done been a part of a lot of boards. No one should ask you to do something of this magnitude, whether y'all think it's not a big deal or not. No one should ask you without cross-referencing. So whatever the charter says, it should have been attached here to say it charter said it instead of saying our city attorney said it. And that's just my belief.
We can
I
supply that.
think for way too long, I think somebody said something about 20 years. I think way too long, and I've been watching the history of Romulus, way too long. This council has been disrespected to no end, and I'm not speaking to you, Mayor, under your terms. I'm saying way too long, like when it first got started. And it's like just disregard what council says. We just need them to say yes. We just need them to be bobbleheads. And then we have to deal with the residents calling us bobbleheads and saying, why is you always saying yes? Why you don't ask questions? The city attorney, you probably don't see but 2 or 3 residents maybe every couple months. We see them every day. And we have to answer to them. And, you know, like I said, I wish I was here that we could have had a full meeting to go over this, but to just say, well, we didn't have a forum, so we couldn't have a meeting, so we just gonna push through and force you guys, in other words, because I done heard it twice saying, this is just the first reading. And then the second reading, we can change it. It should have been changed. I said it to you, Maria, on the phone when you called me earlier. In spite of what I was dealing with at that time, I still tried to focus on what you were saying. I don't like voting on things after the fact or changing it, because I don't really trust humans like that anymore. You know, they tell you one thing and do something else, and I just, these things should have been changed, or I would like to see the charter where the charter, you know, says this, and even the charter, how old is our charter? Do anybody know? We've had a lot of amendments, but not enough to bring us up to 2024. You know, so, but it seems like we tend to go in and pick certain things in the charter that we want to change. We did have a charter committee. The one mayor said it was commission, but a commission is voted by the people. So it was a committee. But we need someone to go through that charter, whether it's a charter commission, ask the people to vote, because if it's a commission, it has to be voted in, the people have to be voted in by the voters. And we need to update that charter. That's one of the main problems. The charter is antiquated, it's old. You're talking about back in the 70s. And then we just want to change what we want to change. You have to understand, and I'm serious, you have to understand we're held by the people, not the administration, the people, not the department heads, the voters. And they hold us to do what's right. And if I didn't understand it, I'm sure if they was looking at the council packet and seeing this, I'm sure they didn't. And then, you know, I just take offense, even though I was not able to be here, that we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna just vote on it, and we'll catch y'all on the second round. I'm done.
If I can, through the chair.
Mayor?
Whatever items city council wants to feel more comfortable with it, to have different recommendations, by all means, please email them, send them to me, and I can have staff either get you the verification, the clarification on languages, or we can propose some changes. But all this was is a chance to bring an ordinance, not the city charter, into alignments with the city charter. But like I said, by all means, if there's suggestions from city council, send them over to us. We'll have staff drill into them. You're 100% right, and this is how the process works. The administration finds an issue, there's an issue with legislation, we bring them to our legislators and propose changes. And now you guys propose different changes, or you might want to leave them the same. But that's how the whole process is supposed to work, right? So we're not trying to put a gun to anybody's head or move anybody forward or be less than transparent. These are just things that we saw in the ordinance that needed to be corrected. So it's our suggestion to the legislators. But by all means, send us electronic communication on what you guys want to see, and we're more than happy to supply them to you.
Ms. Abdo?
Through the chair, I just want to make sure, when we were talking about 62, 361D, about the fee, that tripling it only pertains to those people, I just want to clarify it in my mind, that have illegally hooked up their water.
That would be accurate, yes.
And it does not affect the average citizen who's coming back to rehook his water up then.
And
No,
and
that's
I
for a legal turn-on.
I can modify that paragraph to make that clearer if you like.
That's what I would feel more comfortable
Yeah, I
with.
can do
I did see that, but, yeah, thank you. I would appreciate that.
That's what I was saying. Nobody heard me? I wanted to be clear. Not only that I understand it, but the residents understand it. Clear, just clear. That's what America's about. We're supposed to be clear when we're asking people to agree to something or vote on something. That, to me, that's not clear. Like I said, Mayor, even Maria had to go ask her assistant, because she wasn't clear on it. She had to go get clarification. And you're asking me to vote on it. So,
Ms.
too many
Williams?
times.
In
Hold
our
on. Too many times this has happened. You bring it to us, we'll get back with you. Well, I'll tell you tonight, I'll get back with y'all.
Any other discussion from council? Any more discussion from council?
Yes. So,
Ms. Abdo?
Mayor, anything that we are unclear of, we should send you an email, and we'll have it clarified by the second reading?
100%.
Because you already heard what I was wanting clarified.
Yep.
I just wondered if everybody else heard it.
Okay.
And, through the chair,
Yes, Mr. Wilson?
and a charter is superior to all ordinances. Can we all collectively agree?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other discussion from council? If no other discussion from council, we'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
No.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Chair votes yes. Ms. Talley votes yes. 3-2.
Fails, needs 4 votes.
Need 4 votes, so fails.
Okay, like I said,
Actually, it's an ordinance, needs 5 votes.
Need 5.
so it needs a majority.
Need 5 votes.
Needs 5 votes.
So like I said, please share the communication. We'll make sure that you have the information or in modification to your suggestion, and we'll make sure it's taken care of.
Go ahead, Ms. Reed.
So can you make it clear to me, because this is the first time I ever seen where the chair can support a motion or make a motion?
Yeah, I was questioning that myself.
He can second that motion.
second it.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
supported the motion.
Oh, so a
Because
chair-
there was no one to
Yeah.
move the motion, for, so he can support the motion.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Me?
He didn't either.
No, it's okay. We know.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you,
So
Madam
the chair
Clerk.
can support the motion.
That's the first time I did that in 19 years.
Right, first time you had this situation in 19
Right,
years.
wow. Okay.
Thank you, council. The last action item under the clerk's report, which would be 6E.
Yes,
And it's a request to amend Resolution 23-155. This recommendation is coming from our city planner, Carol Mays. Council approved reappointments at the regular meeting that was on Monday, May 22nd, 2023. And this was for a 3-year appointment for Brian Lloyd and Julie Allison. So when the request for reappointment was made for the 3-year extension, the expiration date documented was June 30th, 2025, instead of June 30th, 2026. So per the rules of the Procedures Board of Zoning Appeals, the City of Romulus, Section 1, members and alternate terms shall be 3 years. The Planning Department would like to request an amendment to that resolution, which was 23-155, to reappoint Brian Lloyd to the Board of Zoning Appeals and Julie Allison as alternate to the Board of Zoning Appeals with 3-year terms to expire on June 30th, 2026. And so that's what we're asking council to approve this evening.
Through the chair,
Ms. Tally?
I'd like to concur with Carol May, City Planner, and amend Resolution 23-155 to reappoint Brian Lloyd to the Board of Zoning Appeals and Julie Allison as an alternate to the Board of Zoning Appeals with terms to expire June 30th, 2026, per the Rules of Procedures, Board of Zoning Appeals, City of Romulus, Section 1.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Tally, supported by Ms. Williams, for request to amend resolution number 23-155. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Tally?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, that motion is approved.
Thank you, City Council. That concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
And which number 7 would be the treasurer's report, but she's informed me that she has nothing to report this evening. So we will move on to number 8 on the agenda, which is public comment. And this is the portion of the agenda for those who are in the audience and who would like to address the City Council. The rules to address the City Council can be found on the back of the meeting agenda. To address City Council, please raise your hand, and after being acknowledged by the chairperson, approach the podium, state your name. Please note that members of the public who submitted a public comment card will be called upon first. You will have 3 minutes to speak, and any additional time will be upon the consent of the chairperson. Mr. Chair and Council, I do have 2 written requests to speak this evening. And the first request is from Teresa Patton.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To the honorable members of City Council, thank you for the opportunity to participate in public comment. My name is Teresa Patton. I am running for judge at 34th District Court for the open judicial seat. I am here to introduce myself. Even though some of you may know my name, I've met quite a few of you. But for those who I haven't met, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce myself and my background to the court. Currently, I am the appointing authority for the City of Romulus for 34th District Court. I run the indigent defense program there. I've been running that program since 2019. I helped to create the program with Captain Josh Monty, who was captain at the Romulus Police Department in 2019. I now run the program along with the finance director, Maria Ferris. So what I do is I make sure that those who cannot afford an attorney at the court has one appointed to them. I make sure that that representation is quality representation. I monitor the representation that's given at the court, as well as I am the person and another attorney in my office to sign all of the invoices that come from the attorneys that represent clients at 34th District Court. I believe there is information that comes before City Council here to pay those attorneys once per month. So that is what I am currently doing. I've been running that program, as I stated, since 2019, and in 2021, I began running the program for 19 of the district courts in Wayne County as well. So currently, I'm the appointing authority for 20 of the 24 district courts in Wayne County, still including 34th District Court. By way of my history, I served 34th District Court as their state prosecutor beginning around 2007. I'm not quite sure of the year, it's been a long time. But my service at 34th District Court and to the communities of 34th District Court has been almost 20 years. After serving as the assistant prosecuting attorney there at the court, I was brought on by the judges once I left the prosecutor's office as one of the court-appointed attorneys there. So I worked as a court-appointed attorney until Jeff Bowditch took over as being the only appointed attorney there. Once the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission Act was passed and enacted, the courts could no longer appoint attorneys for indigent defendants. I was then asked by the City of Romulus as well as the 34th District Court to come on and to run their indigent defense program. So by way of background, that's just a little bit of my service to 34th District Court and the communities of Romulus and the other communities served out of that court. I am running for judge as an extension of my almost 20 years to the community here and the other communities. 3 minutes goes very quickly, but I'm going to follow the rules. I will stay around after the meeting for anyone to speak with me who wishes to do so. Once again, thank you to the members of council and all present for this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Chair, our second request is coming from Beatrice Richardson. I hope I pronounced your first name correct.
How you doing, Ms. Richardson? Inkster.
Thank you.
Deartress, I'm sorry. There you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, my name is Deartress Richardson. I am currently a member of the Inkster City Council. I am currently a candidate for the seat of, and I'm kind of nervous, it got me after a judge. I am running for the, excuse me, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I am running for, I'm sorry, let me start over. If you don't, no, you don't have to let me start. I am so sorry. I am running for the state of Michigan. I'm running for state rep for the 26th district. I have served on council. I'm District 6. I have served for, since 1999. I am a former commissioner, CBA. I'm a former member of the Wayne County Community Development Block Advisory Board. I had established and chaired the Inkster Task Force for over 10 years where we got grant money. I'm a former member of the Board of Education. I am a former chair of the Development Review Team, former member of the Western Wayne County Family Health Center, a former member of the Inkster Schools Teen Health Center. I'm a former member of the UAW, Chief Steward and Health and Safety Rep. I was first elected the president of the first ever Inkster Optimist Club, first woman president. I am the president of the chair of the League of Christian Women. I'm retired from the state of Michigan. I've been in community service for over 25 years. And I am here to introduce myself, and I'm sorry for being so nervous.
That's okay.
I want you to know, have a face with the name that's going to be on the ballot. I'm here to serve the people. That's what I'm about. I've been doing that for over 25 years. And I just want you to remember me, the face and the name. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, that was the last written request.
Any other comments from the audience? Yes.
Hello all, my name is John Larkin. I'm running for Wayne County Circuit Court Judge, not to be confused with Ms. Patton, who's running for the District Court Judge. I'm surprised, first of all, I want to say a compliment to her. I know her husband, Lamont Patton. He's been a class act all this time, so I can only imagine she is as well. With respect to myself, I've been a practicing attorney for the past 32 years. I've practiced throughout all the courts here in Wayne County, and now I'm trying to, after practicing for 32 years, I'm trying to step to the Wayne County Circuit Court bench. I've helped people in their criminal and civil problems throughout all things that you can imagine, whether it be landlord-tenant, whether it be bankruptcy, whether it be keeping people out of jail or trying to get them back in the straight road, or even doing simple things like restoring their driver's license. I've helped those people for the past 32 years. A little bit about me: I've been married for 28 years, happily married for 28 years, I should say. I have 3 wonderful adult children. I grew up here in Wayne County. I practice here at this next door court in front of all your judges. In fact, one of the judges endorsing me, his name's escaping me right at this moment. That's so horrible. But I ask you to look for Larkin on the ballot. I am on the ballot. I will be on the nonpartisan section on the circuit court. And again, look for Larkin. Again, my name is John Larkin, and you can find my website at www.larkin4judge.com. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larkin.
Mr. Miller?
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I appreciate the comments by the council, brought on by Councilwoman Williams in regards to this situation. I had the opportunity, the water situation, I had the opportunity to read over the document 3 times. And I noticed that there's 29 times in the document that the city council has authority, 1 time where the mayor has authority. Now, I appreciate Councilwoman Abdo for bringing up the situation that has to do with the possibility of the cost increase passing over to the regular customers. And it's been talked about already, and I'll get into that. As we find ourselves in a precarious situation in the United States right now with not only hunger, not only rising taxes, not only interest rates, not only food that has become very expensive. When we look around our city, we know if you statistically start looking at the city of Romulus, as far as those individuals who are low income, those who live in single parent homes, you will be surprised at how many there are. So my concern, which I believe has been alleviated, was this charge that's going to be turned into a 3 times. And I do understand the significance of both scofflaws and unlawful people that would unlawfully hook into the water. I understand that. My concern was for those single parents, the children in this community who not only sometimes go without food, but sometimes go without water when the water's shut off. What I'm interested in is that this it was double, this triple assessment doesn't fall on the backs of people who first off can't pay their water bill, not because they don't want to, but because their circumstances don't allow them to. And then when they go to get the money or figure out a way to have the city cooperate with them to be able to get the water back on, I don't want to see this, sir?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I don't want to see this situation that allows the mayor to control that money in necessary times that may require, because we know that the city certainly is in circumstances by itself. But I would like to see that the fee for those folks who are struggling doesn't get transported to the 3 times. So that what we have is a guarantee that the amount of money that's necessary to turn the water back on, that it will not gravitate down to 3 times where poor folks who can't pay the bill in the first place having a harder time struggling to try to turn it on. And what most people don't understand, and I've said this many times before, when you turn the water off in a home, theoretically and legally, the house becomes uninhabitable. You cannot have people living in a home without water. Yet we turn water off. Water is a right. We haven't gone far enough now to where we're able to get a movement to make sure that water becomes absolutely available regardless of your situation or your circumstances. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
You're welcome. Any other comments from the audience? If there's no other comments from the audience, Madam Clerk, close that part out.
Number 9 is unfinished business. Number 10 is new business.
Chair.
Oh, Mayor?
Just
Oh, I'm
one
sorry.
quick comment, just on, because Mr. Miller brought it up. The modification to the language for the authority that we're talking about in the discussion here is just about operations of the department. Fees and regulations and all those will still come before council, same as other departments. So council always sets those, but we can, again, make clarification in here so it's easy to read for everybody. But I agree with you, nobody wants to shut the water off for somebody who's having trouble paying, but this is mostly in mind with the contractors we have that illegally hook up to a hydrant and say, oh, we didn't know, or landlords that live in different communities and they'll remove our equipment. So that's mostly what it's for, but we can make sure it's clear as crystal in there, and council can, take action they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Just, through the chair. Mayor, did we come up, or was it a solution for Dexter Street? Because I noticed Ms. Wade was here. She's back there.
We're still working on it, and I apologize. I thought I had it here for you today. We'll have a solution to this issue here very soon. We were alerted this morning. We had teams out there first thing this morning, but they moved the vehicles again. And I'm sorting things out. There's different codes and different laws that are at play here. We want to make sure we cross all of our I's or cross our T's and dot our I's. We have the ordinances that we have to look at, the fire code we have to look at, MDOT, different codes that are regulations. So we have everybody look at to make sure we're right. We want to solve this once. There's already been an issue now where we've taken action, and it appears that it wasn't a corrective action we needed, and it was backed up on. So we want to make sure we get this thing settled once and for all. So I'm determined to have something, but I apologize, I don't have it for you tonight. I need a couple questions answered, and we will take action. One way or the other, I guarantee this problem will be solved. And I did speak to the homeowner as well, so we're on it. We're doing things that, and I apologize, I should have got involved sooner, but staff's doing the best they can. We just want to make sure all the rules are looked at, and make sure that they all are in sync and nothing's conflicting, and we can move forward.
I would just like to say this because it's been going on for so long, and I understand all of the charter and the ordinance, and as I said, I live in a subdivision, and we have from Wayne Road all the way through my entire subdivision back out to E-Course. Because residents were complaining, we have no parking on every side of the street where there's a fire hydrant. I've seen the back and forth. I've sent the pictures. I'm getting them from Ms. Wade, and I shared them with some of my colleagues. I think moving forward, I mean, if we can receive a document as thick as the document pertaining to the ordinance with the water and sewer, we need to, the council needs to come together and maybe ask for an amendment to the ordinance ourselves, since we're the legislative body, to make sure that those no parking signs go back up on that side of the road. Because, I mean, if we keep kicking the can down the road to say that we're gonna fix it, now we gotta talk to MDOT, we gotta talk to, I mean, and I understand all of the different people you have to go through, but when the residents in my subdivisions was having some of the same issues, seriously, and they had big 18-wheeler trucks parking, we didn't go through this. DPW came over, they put them signs up like every so many feet, bam, problem's over. And the streets in my subdivision in Evelyn Meadows is no more narrow than the streets over on Dexter. I mean, my measurements might be a little off, but I went over and caught myself trying to measure. But they have the same width of street, so I just don't want these residents, because, Mayor, I'm sure your chief of staff sent you that, that was going on this past weekend with a different type of trailer, and that was a commercial trailer. So what we have to do is come with a solution and not keep kicking the can down the road. And I'm not saying that, but to me, because nothing personal, Ms. Wade, but I'm constantly getting call after call after call saying, what are you guys are doing? And so it make us look bad. It does. It make us look bad, and it just make it look like we're putting all the weight on you, Mayor. So if it's something that council can do, Mayor, versus you dealing with Wayne County and whoever else, because one thing I want to say to you too, we need to talk to whoever fixed Wayne Road and Ecorse. They made the lanes smaller. Have you noticed that? Our economic development director, have you noticed Wayne Road lanes are smaller now?
I have not, but I know they haven't done final striping out there yet.
Yeah, they got striping out there, but they are smaller. I mean, a lot of times when you're getting in that lane, if you got two wide vehicles, you like barely getting there to make that turn lane. So I'm just saying, everybody, we need to make sure we fix this problem, because I'm looking at other situations like, Mayor, the ordinance department, I would like for you to deal with them. The ordinance department went down on Beverly Road, and they gave everybody a warning not to park up on Beverly Road. I mean, not to park on Chamberlain, because all of a sudden it's an ordinance. But then now you have certain privileged people parking on Beverly Road. We can't have it both ways. And the ordinance guy, officer, said that it was because he's making sure that we move forward with better rules or different rules from the previous administration. But if someone owned property, it's personally owned property, and they allow someone to use that property, what is it the city business? I'm just asking, because that's what the residents is asking me.
No, that's the first I heard of an issue on Chamberlain and Beverly.
Yeah.
So I have to look into that and talk to the ordinance department.
I mean,
see what's
they
going on.
gave everybody a warning, and those residents, the church owned that property, and the church have allowed them to use it. And what they were told is that the church have to get a certain permit. What I totally stand firm on, we can't have different rules for different people. We can't. So whoever in this ordinance department, this officer, I'm not for sure his name, but we need to get that fixed. Because you have certain people following rules and others don't have to. So we need to get that fixed real quick. But with Miss Wade and those residents on Dexter, Mayor, if the city can't, I would say like within the next 24 hours, 48 hours, if the city can't come up with nothing, council need to come up with a resolution to or amendment to this same ordinance that we doing, or will be the ordinance, because the charter would have to go to the people, because this been too long. It has. It's been too many months. And the city attorney sits here almost every meeting, and I don't see why the rocket scientists haven't came up with anything. I don't. I'm gonna have to dock his pay.
From there, make accents.
Is there any more unfinished business from council? Okay. All right. Moving on to number 10 would be new business. All right, takes us to number 11, warrant for approval is warrant 24-11.
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion we pay warrant 24-11 in the following amounts. General Fund, $85,401.31. Major Street Fund, $32,192.66. Local Street Fund, $21,493.68. Public Safety Fund, $211,365.30. Cable TV, $7,667. Community Employee Activity Fund, $1,150. Garbage and Rubbish Collection Fund, $52.80. Downtown Development Authority, $810.10. Michigan Indigent Defense Fund, $8,486. 911 Service Fund, $7,758.97. Library Fund, $13,479.02. Water and Sewer Fund, $382,879.98. Motor Vehicle, $85,367.16. Technology Services, $10,920. Retirees Insurance Benefits, $130,981.17. Revolving Fund, $2,825. Impressed Payroll Fund, $264,248.84. Totaling all funds, $1,267,078.99.
I second that motion.
Been motioned by Ms. Abdos, supported by Ms. Talley, to pay warrant number 24-11 for $1,267,078.99. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Talley?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved.
Number 12 is communication.
Through the chair, real
Yes,
quick.
Ms.
Just
Talley.
real quick. I did some shout outs to some graduating seniors last week. I did want to add one more. His name is Jacob Andrews. He's a graduate of class of 2024. He is I think he's the grandson of one of our longtime Romulus residents. Patty, she's the owner, her and her brother run Jesco's up on Ecorse Road, and he has her grandson, I think it's her grandson, Patty, if it's not, forgive me, but he graduated for the class of 2024, so I do want to shout out to Jacob Andrews for his accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to ask for prayer for Ronald Warren and the family. He lost his wife. Very difficult just burying his mom. So I would ask that this council and the entire city of Romulus keep them in your prayers, because this is a time that they really, we really need prayer. And also, tomorrow, Forgotten Harvest, 10 o'clock to 12, all is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, please.
Yes, Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I would be remiss if I sat here and didn't say anything about the email that all of us received, I think earlier today or yesterday or whatever it was, about a disturbing situation that's alleged here within our city. And I know everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Allegations, unless they're substantiated, it's just with the allegations. But just reading through that letter from a former city employee here in Romulus really touched me. And I know I talked to you earlier, Mayor. You said you were investigating, and your HR department was also investigating. I appreciate that coming from you, Mr. Mayor. So this is it's a great city. I mean, I'm African American. 44% African Americans reside here in Romulus. And when you see a letter like the one I saw yesterday, it's really disturbing. And even if it's not true, there are a lot of allegations in that letter that makes it hard to not believe. I mean, so again, sitting here, it's pretty difficult to read something like that when I'm thinking that we're beyond that we're a city on the advance, we're on the move, everybody's working together as a community, and I'm sure we probably still are, but I know that'll be addressed, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate you doing so. Thank you.
Absolutely, I was alarmed as well, and right off the bat, we called key staff to verify and look into it and see where we're at. So,
Sure.
yeah, we'll be looking into everything here and make sure, we find out what all the details and facts are of the matter.
Thank you. And on a good note, I was able to walk through the farms the other day, and almost people invite me to dinner damn near, excuse my language, because that pond was drained. So thank you for that. I think I got a free steak dinner coming, but I'll give it to whoever cleaned the pond if I don't eat steak. But it's a good job that you did over there. And the residents are very, very impressed with the follow-through. So thank you and your team for addressing that issue. Thank you.
William?
And through the chair, the mayor, I would just like to say to the mayor, I read the letter also, and the different department heads that they were speaking of. And that's why I say a lot of times things are happening and nobody is even informing you. So I would really, I look forward to you bringing all those together and getting down to the bottom of it, because it was very disturbing, and we're not a city that carry on that way or treat our employees that way. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes,
A quick announcement. First, condolences to Ms. Williams, Councilwoman Williams, and your
Thank you.
family. She mentioned the loss
Yeah.
of the Warren family. Councilwoman
Yes.
Williams is also related
Yes.
to them, so condolences to you and your family. Also, I would like to announce it was announced earlier about the city's Juneteenth celebration on the 22nd, but there's another Juneteenth celebration, which it's kind of nice. It's on June the 15th, the American Progressive Association, they're having their Juneteenth celebration from 12 noon to 6 o'clock.
Yes.
This will be at the Coleman Center located 35351 Beverly Road. Enjoy a variety of vendors. Booth rentals are $25. Setup is at 10 o'clock, and it's open to the public. For more information, contact Councilwoman Williams and Mr. Randy Foster. So this is a win-win. As we know, Juneteenth is a federal holiday, which falls on the 19th of June on a Wednesday. So many people will be off. So it'll be a nice week of celebration starting on the 15th. On Beverly Road, the American Progressive Association, and then we'll end it the week with the city's celebration on the 22nd. So it'll be a week of a lot of activities,
Yes.
so we hope that everybody will come out and support both events. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
And if there is no more communication, it takes us to number 13, adjournment, and the time is 9:09 p.m.
So moved.
Thank you.
Need a second.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wilson for adjournment. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Williams,
Yes.
Ms. Talley,
Yes.
Chair votes